Hi everyone, it's Ray with Tarot Living. So today is a special weekend because it is Thanksgiving weekend. So happy Thanksgiving to all of my Canadian friends. So we celebrated in October in Canada. And it's always an extra special weekend because it's also my birthday weekend, and I always like to contemplate my life and think about things on my birthday, which I've been doing for quite a few months already. I'm turning 52 this week or in a couple of days. And you know what's really interesting is that I have wanted to turn 52 for it seems like months and months. I've been kind of really excited about it, and I have no idea why. I just figure 52, you're well into the 50s, and you've kind of, you've left everything behind of what you thought about turning 50. And it's great. It's actually very settling to be this age, to be honest with you. It is, as you get older, you get just much more comfortable with who you are, and you don't feel like you have to make a lot of, reasons up or excuses for who you are, and you're just sort of being in your own skin, and it's actually really great. So that's what's happening for me. But actually this video is more, I guess, just an inspirational message to you about living our purpose. And I've wanted to make this video for a while. And I actually was teaching a class about maybe 3 weeks ago. And I asked everyone at one point, we were talking about the judgment card, and sometimes the judgment card can be kind of like you're feeling called to do something. And so I said to everybody, who here feels called in their life? Who has felt called to do something in their life? And nobody put up their hand. And one of my very funny friends said, oh no, I'm screening my calls. No, I don't feel called. And it was very interesting because I thought that a lot of people would put up their hand, because I felt like, or I thought that a lot of people would feel called to have done something in their life, or called to whatever it is that they're doing. And they were probably kind of shy, and maybe they didn't quite know what I meant, and I'm sure many of them do feel called. But I have to talk to you about this because really ultimately, I feel like we're all called. We're all called to be who it is that we're supposed to be, and to become the best of who we are and who we came down here to be. And I think that we came with, certain gifts, we came with certain difficulties and limitations, and we certainly came, probably packed with a certain energy field around us that was the, compilation of all kinds of different lives, previously. And we're all just doing the best we can. We're trying to become the best person that we possibly can, in this lifetime. So for me, I think it's so important to try and figure out, what is my purpose? And I know that's sort of overused, but I actually want to talk to you about that. What does it mean to be living your purpose? What does it mean to be doing something that you feel like it's your purpose? And how do you even know what your purpose is? And I've thought a lot about this, over the years. And I really feel like we have to go to our inner guidance system when we're asking those kinds of questions. And our inner guidance system is actually our intuitive emotional system. And in our Western culture, we have made it a priority to think about mental functioning and logic as being so incredibly important, and we've pushed aside the emotional, intuitive part of life, and we don't think it's as valuable. I know when I was a kid, growing up, I was a very intuitive child. I have actually Cancer rising, and my mother would always say, oh, you're too sensitive. That became just a thing for me, that I was too sensitive. And I spent years trying to become not sensitive. So I would do everything I could to not let things bother me and to be not too sensitive, because that just felt very negative. And I think it's just an example of how we're driven toward logic and thinking and science and mental workings, and we're really not drawn toward living intuitively. And so no one ever says to you, when you're a little kid, well, I don't know what you should do, how do you feel about it? I mean, they don't necessarily often stop and say, tell me how you feel. on a deep level, and then we'll make a decision based on that. But the truth of the matter is that your intuition and your emotions are your inner guidance system. And it is the cups in tarot that we often think about as being the emotional guidance system, or at least I do. And I think there's other facets of tarot that can pick this up as well, and many of the major arcana. But ultimately, it's that emotional part of us that's our inner guidance system. So for me, if you want to know anything important, you want to figure out what your emotional guidance system is telling you, and what your God-given guidance system that we were born with is telling you. So we need to go within. The answers are really within. And I find that more and more people asking, questions about, even tarot questions, should I do this? Should I do that? Really, ultimately, your best guidance system is actually internally, going within, meditating, and being really, really honest with yourself and facing everything with yourself, within yourself. That's the best way. Tarot is then a method, it is a tool, astrology is a tool to layer on top of that in order to get more information and to have greater understanding. But the truth is that that tool is actually one step away from your true emotional guidance system, which is your internal world and your internal workings and your gut instinct and your connection to source and your intuition that is really just like, to me, like, if you want to look at it like a Christian, concept, almost like the Holy Spirit within you. So really the source energy within you is going to give you all of the information that you need. And tarot and astrology and whatever else you're using, and runes, and they're all tools. So you have to remember that. So having said that, when you're thinking about, what is my purpose, that's where you're going to find out is your guidance system within. How do I feel about what I'm doing? So if you are wanting to, go ahead and do something in life, or you're thinking, well, I'm going to try doing something, or I'm going to follow this path, and you want to know, is this my purpose, or, is this a good thing for me to be doing? How do you feel about it? When you're living your purpose, when you're doing things that are in sync with your greatest, connection to source, and therefore living your purpose, you're going to feel connected, you're going to feel fulfilled, you're going to feel happy, you're going to feel calm, or you might even feel excited. Maybe calm isn't even always the phase that you're in, but you're going to feel very good about it, and you're going to feel like, I am really channeling source energy at its purest form. And so the gift I can give you for today, or the thought for today, is really, how do you feel? How do you feel about things? Go within and figure out, what is your emotional guidance system telling you? If you want to know what path to go on, go within. Look at the Two of Swords, for example. The Two of Swords, she's blindfolded, and it's ruled by the moon, and there's a moon above her. And the idea of that card is that we need to block out the things that we're seeing, and we need to go within and trust that moon energy and that emotional intuitive energy. So living your purpose is about following how you feel, where you feel best, where you feel like you are expressing yourself to the greatest potential. And also, if you're thinking about, is this something purposeful for me, or is it important for me? Look to your vision that you have of it. If you can envision something long before anyone else can, then you know that you are onto something, because other people do not have to see your vision. In fact, they may not. Other people don't have to feel it. You have to feel it. So you follow what's right for you. And that is the ultimate thing that we can do, is becoming the best person we can be, and using our gifts in the best way is really learning to follow our internal guidance system. So that is my thought for today, and I hope you have a great Thanksgiving weekend, everybody in Canada, and to all of my other tarot friends, God bless.